Hello everyone, this is Nimish and today we're going to review the movie Not 24 Kaatham starring Fahadh Faasil. Before I begin this review, I'm going to get into a little more detail with the actors leaderboard with every movie that I do. So let me quickly explain that. From this video onwards, you'll see that there is an extra slide or a title slide about the actor whose movies I'm reviewing. So for today's review, you'll see another extra slide at the end of the video about Fahadh Faasil, which indicates the movies of which that I have watched and the ones that I have loved. So that many people have been asking me, what is this about, and how do you distinguish it, how did the percentage go up and down? And I know that there are many new people who watch my videos, there may be new subscribers and they may not really understand if I just put one percentage at the end. So I'm going to add a special video for the actor, in today's case Fahadh Faasil, which will tell you the number of movies and names of the movies that I have watched and the ones out of them which I have loved, so that you know that only those ones are taken into consideration for the percentage, and you can calculate and cross-check that one. So that's the addition. I hope that's self-explanatory, and let's see how that goes. Now let's get into the review of Not 24 Kaatham. This is a movie about a guy who is very simple. He has an OCD kind of situation. He has his own ways, he has his own style, he can't go out of his comfort zone. He's very fixed in the way and fixated in the way how he operates in his life, and one fine day he has to leave that comfort zone and travel to some place by train and go completely out of what he would have imagined his normal lifestyle. To go out of that is a very big challenge for him, and what happens on that journey, what happens, the people he meets, the experiences he has, forms the rest of the story. So this movie boils down to become a road trip movie, and it begins as, you have no idea that it's a road trip movie. It begins in a very exciting way. So I want to say that this movie started off in a very entertaining, exciting way, because the way that depicted his OCD, his style was very funny, it was hilarious, and his office situations, his office interactions were very interesting. The other characters in the office, how they hated him, how they were happy when he was trying to leave, all of the situations were very interesting, up to the point where he then had to go outside his comfort zone. So we were the character build-up was completely perfect, where we completely could relate to how he must be feeling to go out of the comfort zone, travel by train, and all of that was very funny. And then he moves on and he meets some people, and all the journey happens, and as time passes it boils down to become a regular kind of a road trip movie or a journey movie. And for me, this movie was entertaining up to the point where they meet the couple which don't speak the same language. So when they meet that couple, up to that point the movie was very entertaining, but by the time it reached that point, it started becoming more and more of a regular road trip movie. So overall, I felt that this movie could have been something really different, unique, something more interesting in terms of how the plot developed, how it went by. Maybe I felt that they didn't have to focus so much on the road trip, because it started off as not being a road trip movie and then it ended up being a road trip movie. So because the road trip lasted longer than I expected it to last, maybe that's the reason why I felt, this is nothing new, it is again a road trip movie and there's nothing great or nothing extremely enjoyable or different about it. But nevertheless, it is a one-time entertaining watch for sure, and it is definitely one of the better movies of Fahadh Faasil that I have watched. Moving on to the acting, Fahadh Faasil, once again, I have not been able to judge his acting talent perfectly here. I know that many of you have recommended a movie called Oru Indian Pranay Katha, wherein I can see a different side of him. So I have not been able to witness his different or versatile performances yet, because again in this movie, as I have already said before in Mahesh and Adhikaram review, that he brings his intensity of his natural life maybe to the roles that he does, and he selects them perfectly. So again over here, although he did a fabulous job, there's no two ways about it, he does his roles perfectly. Again, I feel that the reason he did the role perfectly is because he chose it perfectly, is because it matched his character. And I may be completely wrong, he may be a completely fun person in real life, but it really feels like he's doing these intense characters which suit him, which he's playing on his strengths, which is not a bad thing at all. but I would love to see more of him, which I know you guys have recommended. As I said, Oru Indian Pranay Katha, which I will definitely try and watch. Another movie that I will be watching right now is Monsoon Mangoes, and that will be my next review because many of you have also recommended that and it's easily available. So I hope to see another side of him as I watch more and more of this brilliantly talented and very interesting actor. All the other actors in the movie were very fine. They were supporting. They did what they have to do. But anyway, this was not, I don't feel it was a performance-oriented film, so to speak. However, I do want to mention one woman who played his office colleague. The woman, I'm not sure her name, but she's also there in Kasaba. I watched a few scenes of Kasaba. I didn't watch the whole movie because you guys, your comments started pouring in saying, oh, don't watch Kasaba, it sucks. So I didn't want to waste my time on that movie, but I might watch it at some other point. But I'm not sure what her name is, but she played the kind of a vamp, the kind of a witchy character who doesn't want him, who'll do anything to get him out of the way, you know, get him out of work. She hates him, all of that, you know. So that character actor, I think she's fabulous, and I think she deserves much more bigger, meatier roles than she's probably been getting. I have not seen her in too many movies. I have not seen her in longer roles. So whatever role she has got in these two movies that I mentioned, I think she's fabulous, and I liked her immediately when I saw Not 24 Kaatham, and even more when I watched a few scenes in Kasaba, because she has a unique trait to her which is irreplaceable for any other actor or by any other actor. And I think that for an actor or for a casting director, you want unique traits in the people that you're kind of taking in your movie. You want them to bring what they themselves have to offer, rather than, you know, any other actress, for example. They can be replaced most often in commercial movies. They can be replaced by 10 other actresses because their role is the same. They just have to smile, they have to do a few songs, they have to then cry, fall in love in the commercial movies only I'm speaking about. So they have to do a similar thing, and so all actresses, if you note, in Tamil or Hindi movies, they're so replaceable with one another. You know, anyone can replace anyone, and that unique trait of actresses or actors has been reducing as time has been passing. At least in Bollywood, we don't see any more people with those unique talents, unique characters which only they can kind of perform. Today everyone can be replaced by anyone, and that's something that I felt that she had, which I've not seen in a long time for a character actor. And I feel that if the writers focus on making supporting roles meatier, more interesting, then she can be a very valuable asset to the Malayalam film industry. And I hope she is, and I hope she already is, and I've not seen much of her, and I hope she will be soon. So that's a special mention. Overall, this is a fine movie. It is entertaining, definitely recommendable, but of course it is not something extraordinarily different, unique, and it boils down to being a similar road journey, just presented in another way. So I'm going with 2.5 stars. And now that I said 2.5 stars, many people misunderstand 2.5 stars as a bad review, and I honestly don't think it's a bad review. For me, even 2 stars is not a bad review, because 2 stars, if you have seen my rating scale, means that a movie could be better. A movie had potential and some things went really wrong, which is why it lost its kind of success, or it lost its kind of perfection. So even 2 stars is a good review for me. So don't take it in a wrong way when I say 2.5. Actually, 2.5 is one of the most important reviews I consider, because it actually says nothing about a movie. In one way, it's so subjective that I've already explained in my rating scale that it's so subjective. 2.5 stars, it basically means some people might say this movie is 5 stars, whereas others might say this movie is 1 star. And it has nothing to do. So it's the most non-rating that is possible for a movie, 2.5 stars, which is just like, you decide what you want to do with it. I just can say that, you know, everyone might have a different opinion. So whenever I give 2.5 stars to a movie, I'm keeping in mind people that are not from the Malayalam film industry, from other walks of life, my own friends or people that I know. And I can clearly see a segmentation that if I show it to one group of people or my group of friends, there are going to be half of them who really like the movie. There are going to be half who are going to fall asleep or walk away from the movie or say, why did I watch this movie? So whenever I see this clear distinction, which also happened with NPCB, I know that there are only few people who will like it, or many others may not like it, from the non-Malayalam film industry, or the non-Keralites, for example, people who are not aware of the industry. So I know that there will be a clear divide. That's when I say 2.5, which means that, you know, it's up to you. It's not my rating. I'm just saying it's 2.5. It can go either way. So 2.5, don't take it in a negative note or it's a bad thing as usual, because my scale is different, my opinion is different, my approach is different, and that's why I keep attaching my rating scale in the videos. It's also here, you can check that out. So overall, I did enjoy Not 24 Kaatham, but definitely not as much as I thought I would based on your recommendations and your praises for the movie. So I'm going with 2.5 stars, and following now is the 2 leaderboards, and hopefully you will understand what I meant when I said that there will be an addition to the leaderboard. So I hope you like this review. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and keep watching.